called Spätzle. It has these specific noodles called Spätzle, and then Swiss cheese, salt, onions, which we're going to caramelize, butter, and sugar. The first step is preheating the oven to 400 degrees. As the oven heats up, the molecules are moving faster and faster within to do so. This is an endothermic reaction because heat is being added. Before putting the Spätzle and other ingredients into the casserole dish, it must be coated with butter. This prevents the food from sticking to the dish because the butter reduces surface tension. If the dish didn't have butter coated on it, the Spätzle would stick to the dish while cooking and would be difficult to remove.
Heating a pot of water is also an endothermic reaction because heat is entering the water. The molecules are also moving fast in order to heat up the water. We know that the water has to come to a boil once bubbles begin to form and the water is steaming. Because the molecules are moving so fast, the water has started to vaporize and turn into gas.
Once the Spätzle is put into the water, heat begins to soften the noodles as the water enters them and makes them swell. This is an endothermic reaction because the noodles are being heated up. However, if the noodles are taken out too soon, they may be too hard and crunchy because the water didn't have enough time to soften them. Taking them out too early could mean soggy noodles because they absorb too much water.
Caramelizing the onions is also endothermic because heat is entering the onions. As they heat up, this causes both pyrolysis and Maillard reaction because the sugars and proteins creating chains of newly formed molecules at a high temperature. Pyrolysis leaves char and releases gas and liquid. This is the decomposition of organic or carbon-based substance on high temperatures. With the Maillard reaction, the higher the pH level, the faster a substance will brown, which is why adding baking soda to onions while cooking increases the speed at which they caramelize because it rises the pH level. However, too much baking soda can make the onions taste strange and give them a strange texture. Now we're going to layer the onions, noodles, and cheese to create a heterogeneous mixture.
The cheese on top of the Spätzle will be melted and begin to brown and become crispy once the dish is done. This is an endothermic reaction because heat is entering the cheese, as well as the Maillard reaction because the cheese is browning because of the sugars and proteins forming new chains. Once out of the oven, heat will exit the dish, causing it to cool, creating an exothermic reaction.